Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Rose and this is my office. I'm a philosopher. I come out here to think and to shoot videos. Some of y'all may recognize these two groups of trees over here whenever I am filming over there. So I come at a different angle. Some of my older videos were shot right over here, standing right there and filming back off into there. Now I started this video right when the sun is coming up, although we won't see it coming up over here maybe for another hour or so. And of course it's fun to come out here in nature and be out here before dawn so you can hear nature wake up. They're about 25 minutes ahead of the sunrise. As soon as they see that sunlight light up, they get all excited, don't they? Well, today, folks, I'm going to do a really short video, and I'm going to just throw this camera up here on my bike in just a moment. But first, I want to share with you what I'm going to talk about from something I recorded the other day from my file on Con Artist. This comes from the Con Artist Handbook, and what I'm about to play on my tape recorder is a real couple short sentences that has to do with one of 14 things that con artists count on. And the whole purpose of this video, again, I'm going to make it real short, is to reference back to one of the videos I did a while back. It's one of my favorite videos because it really helps people wake up and see the big picture. I called it Satan's Secret Weapon. Now, some of y'all might be turned off by that title, but keep in mind, folks, you don't have to believe in God or Satan to understand how this principle works, because the powers that be actually do worship Satan. And they're con artists and they trick us. And one of the things they count on is what I'm going to share with you right now. And I actually have already identified this piece of the puzzle. It's piece number 13 that in a special teaching tool I created called the Ultimate Schematic, where I identified 281 of the most important pieces. And in this case, this would be piece number 13. It'd be one of the first 21 pieces, and those are the 21 main problems of knowledge that I've identified. 2 forms of ignorance, 12 sources of false knowledge, 7 mental factors. This would be one of the sources of false knowledge. This is one of the ways we're being tricked into not discovering the truth, especially about history. So let me try to set this camera up where I think I can set it up and then play this one little clip for you. And I've never done this before, and I'm going to try to see if I can get away without having to edit anything. And if I do this right, I think I can just jump in front of this and halfway be visible. But first, before I do that, let me play what I'm talking about. Here it goes.
When emotion and reason clash, emotion wins almost every time. Appeal to emotion. Even if your appeal defies logic, reason, and common sense, a great many of the sheep will simply go along.
All right, let me flip this screen around and see if I'm somewhere to be seen. Here I am. All right, it's not too bad. Okay, I labeled that piece number 13. I call it jokingly amygdalosis. Now, we should never name symptoms, but I ask why I say I jokingly name it that. If I was an allopathic doctor, I would name the symptom. Remember, that's another part of the illusion that we're being tricked into not understanding the cause. It's cause and effect. Let me name the effect. Oh, in this case, what do you got, folks? Amygdalosis. This means we have an emotional reaction before we have a chance to intellectualize about it. And the powers that be know that. They know how to push our emotional buttons. And it's a form of intellectual terrorism. And they can do it with just one word. They've done this so well. They've implanted these books of bullshit in our brains where there's so many references that make us think a certain way. All we have to do is mention one word and it pushes our emotional button. And now we never look further into that story, and that's the key. That's why they do it. There are certain things the powers that be don't want us to understand. So when they don't want us to understand a story, they try to figure out some way to make it emotional and then push that button. So watch Satan's Secret Weapon, my friends. I explain how governments go through cycles. I explain how democracies go through cycles. Powers that be know that, And when we're being played like a fiddle, and you see it everywhere you go, don't you? You see people and they have these expectations. You can tell they've been so well brainwashed, they react exactly the way the powers that be want them to react. And it's really quite frightening once you understand how you've been manipulated pretty much your entire life, and how you have what you think are values and beliefs, and yet you haven't really put any thought into it. All you have is a book up there with a bunch of pages in it. And what I mean by that is, if we look at an idea like a tabletop with no legs, or a book, 2 covers, no pages, then the legs on the table and the pages in the book would be all the references that support that idea, which will turn it into a belief. So what we have are these books of bullshit with all these pages. We've got these massive books of bullshit where they can use that to push our button, emotional button, and not realize what really has happened, especially when it comes to how to live and history itself, so that it keeps repeating itself. Another video I want to reference to from this video alone is to make sure you guys watch the Norman Dodd interview. Now, this is a pretty dry interview, but it's so valuable, it's so important. You have to understand what Norman Dodd has done. He was the head researcher for the Reese Committee back in the 1950s, where the government decided to investigate tax-exempt corporations, and they had access to the minutes. And they said they were very frank in those minutes about how they were intended to control and manipulate history, and that they couldn't control the people in charge now. And that's when they realized, well, we just got to create a new stable of historians. We'll make sure we offer this to the right person. They'll have to qualify if they're going to be one of our idiots, useful idiots, to brainwash the masses so that history keeps repeating itself. Please watch the Norman Dodd interview. Again, I'm going to make this video very short. Look at a pinned comment down below, as well as the description box of my video. Watch Satan's Secret Weapon. Watch the Norman Dodd interview. I'm telling you, folks, we need to wake up and realize that the biggest obstacle we have about living reform is not just the ignorance, which we've got a bunch of, isn't it? It's the powers that be that want to keep us ignorant. When you look at the performance equation, willingness times ableness, very people have the ability, they don't have the knowledge, but then if they have it, it's hard to apply. It's hard to break away from the herd. And that's these are obstacles. Again, I've identified 21 main problems of knowledge, 55 altogether. I explained that in the ultimate solution, or the ultimate schematic. And then I have the ultimate solution playlist, 11-part video series, where I explain all 281 pieces. So that's all I'm going to do in this video, is to get you guys to realize there's 3 main videos, maybe, well, 4 actually. Well, if you look at the full length, and I'll put a link to that one, that includes the ultimate schematic. Those 3 main videos, if you watch those things, and if you can open up your mind, ow, you're in for a treat.